I know that it can be extremely daunting. I do practice rebel canning. However, I don't water bath everything like a lot of rebel canners do. I prefer to pressure can. This is a 16 quart Presto pressure canner. I bought this off of Facebook Marketplace for $50. You can expect to spend anywhere between $115 to $200 depending on the kind that you get. The 15-pound jiggler is what came standard with the Presto. Now, depending on your elevation, you might not need 15 pounds. Now, what these jigglers do is they regulate the pressure in the canner. So since I don't need 15 pounds of pressure to can, I bought these, which have removable weights to regulate 10 pounds of pressure, which is all I need at my elevation. One of the other things that I highly recommend getting is a canning book. Even though I don't follow all of Ball's guidelines, the Ball book for canning is really, really good for just starting out. They have a whole lot of technical information to kind of explain the process and how canning works. I know that was something that I was really confused about when I first started canning. This thing that you have to invest in are jars. Regular canning jars are gonna come in two different types. They're gonna come regular mouth or wide mouth. You can reuse them. And now Ball and USDA, they don't suggest reusing the flats that come with the jars, but a lot of rebel canners do, as long as they're not damaged. Another thing that a lot of people don't do unless you're a rebel canner is reusing commercial jars. Peppers that I water bath canned and pickled in an old Tostito jar. If you're not willing to reuse your flats, you can buy them. I've bought flats in lots of different brands. Usually you can get a 12 pack of flats for $4 to $6, depending on the brand, where you're shopping, and whether it's regular mouth or wide mouth. Wide mouth are better. Like, it's easier to shove the food into the wide mouth, it's easier to clean them, but they're more expensive. The jars are more expensive and the lids are more expensive. So there are also reusable lid options. These are Tatler lids. I think there's a few different brands that make reusable options. So instead of the metal flat, you've got the separate rubber seal and a plastic flat. Unless you're buying used jars that don't come with lids, you should never have to buy the rings. You're gonna remove the rings from the jars. You only need these for the actual processing part. Don't buy these. Throw these away half the time because I have them coming out of my ears. You're gonna need some sort of a can opener, especially if you're gonna reuse the lids. So I like this can opener. This actually came with my Tatler lids. I these off of Amazon or even at the dollar store. Jar lifter. You use it like this, by the way. You hold this in and then you're gonna reach into the canner to pull your jar out, because these are going to be super, super, super hot when you're done processing. So you absolutely have to have a jar lifter. Another thing is a debubbler. So this has two functions. It is a debubbler on this end, so you will use it to literally debubble. You'll push it around in your jar to get all the bubbles out. Also, there is a headspace ruler at the bottom of it. Now, what are these? This is a magnet. So people use this to literally pull their lids up and stick it on their jars. I don't use this, it's useless to me. I don't boil my lids. I think that's why people typically would use these. I don't recommend these. I also don't recommend these. There's a lot of people who swear by using these to open their jars, and I'm guessing they pop it off like this. I don't know, I've never been able to get that to work. You can buy all of this stuff off Amazon. You can buy sets, you can go to farm stores, you can even get a lot of this stuff from Walmart. Read up on it before you start doing it. Make sure you understand the science behind the process, especially if you're gonna go into rebel canning. You want to have a good understanding of what you're doing before you do it so that you don't do something dangerous. If you have any questions, just leave a comment, let me know. Those are the supplies that I use and that I recommend. I made that entire video and forgot to say that you also needed a funnel. This is necessity, a funnel for canning to keep the food off of the rim, and a ladle if you're canning some sort of a soup. If you're getting a canning kit, usually it comes with the jar lifter and the funnel and a debubbler if you get one of those.